Say it. Please do. Please. I wanna know. Please. Yeah. Hi. Hi. I'm about to say something. Say what? That was amazing. Anyway, hi. Hello. Hey, hey. Hi, Angry Beauty. Tell me about the thing you got, your manga. Oh my god. And meanwhile, will you be telling me I will be rescuing fucking Drufalo for third time. Anyway, tell me about it. And also, I asked about a call today, like short call. Because we should genuinely really practice. I know, but do you know anything about it? Or did you just like go, was it just like a random shot? Scream in the dark? I thought you have some little background about that story. Anyway, Mushoku Tensei, it has a bit big part of the romance in it as well. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you so badly. Also, I mentioned the call for the second time now and you literally ignored it. So the first thing about that Lego, that story, there was a progress today, and since I didn't want to tell you yesterday, today I have to because it made a progress. So, can I tell you? Like, it's just a bizarre thing. It's not nothing like no triggers, no nothing. It's kind of comical, to be honest. It's sad and comical same time. So there is a company in USA that has a net worth around $90 million. It's called Bricks and Minifix, yes. So they call it BAM. BAM. Let's call it BAM, okay? BAM BAM. And they are basically like how it's called? Fuck, zastavarna in English. Like it's where you go to sell your old stuff, and people also go there to sell their old stuff. They don't give you full price, but they offer you some price according to the prices on internet, and then they resell it for a bit more, and then you can also buy their like old stuff that someone sold. It's like pawn shop, okay? Pawn shop, I think it's correct word, but it's literally company for Lego. And there was a guy who sold his dad's Lego, who was collecting it for his whole life, and it was priced around $200,000. Okay, $200,000. The reason why they sold it was because the dad was getting ill and they needed to pay medical bills, so dad agreed to sell it. but the owner changed during that, so they had to physically Lego in. They didn't pay them, and meanwhile the owner changed, like someone inherited it, but it was still on, like they say, contracts change or whatever, and they just refused to give them the Lego back. Instead, they wanted to give them like a tiny fraction piece of it. I don't know how much, but we can estimate, guess maybe $10,000 to $50,000 from those 200,000. Obviously, they were not happy with it because they wanted to do it by right. So at first they said this, then they acted like we do not have it here and it's old contracts and you can't do anything about it. So they said, like the Minitwix, the company, okay, BM, they said, do it by go to court with it if you have issues. So that's what they did. They did go to court. At the same time, a YouTuber, kind of slightly, I don't know if big, but kind of popular apparently, at least in America, he took interest in that story, and he is like, I don't know, let's say he was doing private investigation about it, and he found out that obviously that family is right, and that company tried to steal from them $200,000. So he went into there and started helping them. So he even was attending court and everything, and court agreed, I think it was in Utah, court agreed that the family is right and Minitwix should pay them $200,000. So there was some paperwork from court that they had to deliver to her, like the CEO. So they went physically in front of the house, and he was like not talking to them. Immediately he was calling police, and it escalated into the like power fight, not like physical fight, but a fight where you're basically exchanging, trying to hurt the other side as much as you can, like legally, illegally, whatever. So the CEO started having beef with that YouTuber. I forgot his name, whatever, that's just YouTuber. And he was calling police on him. They were like stopping him. They was like, well, we got the anonymous tip that you might be carrying cocaine in your car. Then he actually swatted him. So basically there was like SWAT unit sent to his house, and he was like arrested for, I don't know, day, whatever, and then he was put on bail. That guy, he has a Patreon because he's YouTuber and whatever, so he has YouTube plus Patreon, and apparently Patreon is like the biggest, it's the biggest income of his money that he gets. So they did this, they did that. There was a lot of things. He actually said if he doesn't stop pestering me with those fucking paperwork from the court, I'm gonna fucking shoot him. This is what the CEO said to the police. And instead of them investigating that he was threatening him with threatening his life, they were like, well, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't be giving him legally binding papers because he is stressed and he might do things that he threatened to do. Like, they were, instead of actually doing all what they're supposed to do by the law, they were like protecting him because he's a little business owner. So he was sending police on the YouTuber for like maybe 3, 4, 5 times. He was in jail for already like few days. But he didn't stop because that literally kept pushing him to going further and further. Charlie, the most critical, who is like my favorite YouTuber, the Big Fish, he started covering that story with like already 5 videos. That's how people like me and public got like a whiff of it. And it shows the corruption in Utah police. I mean, it's not only Utah, but specifically Utah. Like, there was so many illegal things, but because he put this in light, there's more and more people knowing about it, and it could be kind of question of time before that part of America could get in trouble for corruption and shit, which is good thing. So they did all this. Then BAM, the Bricks and Minifix, they start attacking in every single like underhanded tactic they could. So they they sent former complaint to Patreon. It's like, you know, those donation shits. Like some OnlyFans girls have it apparently and that kind of shit. So they appealed to Patreon with formal complaint to stop his income and also some other thing like apparently quote unquote legally binding, but it was all fake. CEO of Patreon, who is 9.1 bigger company, they don't have fucking measly 90 million dollars net worth. They have fucking 800 million, which is 9.1 bigger. And he literally made like 8 or 5 minutes YouTube video about it, saying that they did this, that they verified it's actually that company, it's no one trying to pretend it's them. It was actually that legally that company who tried to like take his account down, who made a formal complaint. And then he said, well, you can, like, he didn't use those words specifically, but the whole point was he said, well, you can go fuck yourself, we're gonna keep his account, you have absolutely no right to do anything about it, and if you have any issues with us, you can sue us. And then I was like checking, and they have literally like about 8 times higher budget for lawyers that they can use against the minifigs if they actually try to sue them. So it would be extremely comical. Like literally CEO started clowning other CEO who is like 10 times bigger company, and which is an incredibly rare thing because usually business owners side with business owners and no one sides with little content creators and that kind of shit. It just doesn't happen. So this is like extremely rare occasion where it did actually happen. Also, I forgot, because I told you about that the CEO versus CEO video. That was literally what today was released. Before that, Utah Police Department, they released a statement, like 40-50 minutes video. There was like a chief officer who was like commanding the whole station. Because the police, they were literally doing underhanded tactic. You could see it in the video, in their body cam videos that was released. Also in the video of that guy. What? And they literally said like, hey, don't do rapid movements. I told you don't do the movements. And then he started literally twisting his arm, which he dislocated his arm, actually his shoulder. And you could see in the video he's literally standing still doing nothing. And there was like several of these things that they were doing. Like in these videos, what they were doing, like literally like they were trying to catch him on anything, like they were making stuff up, like behavioral stuff up, but it was incredibly visible on the video, everything that was happening. For example, when he was on station and they said like, hey, we're texting, you texting, and then he said like the CEO of the bricks, and he said no, and he said yes. Like they were literally just making stuff up. It was so many things, and everything is in a fucking video released. So the chief was making statements, and those statements, it had like 10 points, and over 7 of those 10 points were immediately provably incorrect on the spot. So let's say if I was a Charlie or that small YouTuber who was like harassed, if I saw that statement, I could disprove it literally within fucking 10 seconds. By saying or putting the video footage of what actually happened. So it was extremely comical what they did, and that video of Utah police chief officer was released on YouTube, and I checked the video comments, and every fucking body is clowning on them. Like literally they are putting hate threats, death threats, they're literally insulting them. It's extremely comical. I haven't found a single positive comment about them. So it's kind of scary, like, if you're just fucking business owner, not even that big, like, okay, 80 million dollars net worth is not even that big if you consider Patreon as like 10 times bigger. And police sided with them in every single case scenario. And what I do not understand in that video, because I have seen even like one league player reaction to it, I checked like from 1 hour and 30 minutes, I checked like 20 minutes, and then I close it because he's actually degenerate who doesn't have a brain to comprehend basic legal terms that were happening there. Even though it's fucking American, he still wasn't comprehending it. But okay, it's a league player, what to expect. But what I do not understand, he was okay, there is specific case scenario. The police officer, there was a lady, and she was like, what are you doing here? He filed a report for harassment, you're not allowed on his property, otherwise it's trespassing and that kind of shit. And he was saying that originally he came there with the paperwork from the court that they are supposed to settle it peacefully. So in a goodwill he came to visit him to try to settle it peacefully, and she said something like, okay, but you can just make that stuff up and say it, you can just make lies up, so I don't believe what you're saying. Why the fuck did he just literally didn't go to his car, grab the paperwork and show her and said something like, you don't need to trust me, but if this is literally defined by the court, then you have no authority to deny that. And other thing I do not understand, if it was court said that they owe them $200,000, how the fuck is not police job to get like push that away from him? Like, you know, you can literally freeze bank accounts, you can bring executioners. Okay, execution is probably not the correct word, but in Czech we have executor, which is literally someone who freezes your assets if you don't pay your debts. For example, he can freeze your house that is like, let's say, I don't know, $1 million, and sell it for $200,000, literally undersell it. He gets 60,000 whatever that you are owning, and then you get the rest 140. Like, this is basically what they do in Czech, legally. And that I think was kind of it what I wanted to tell you, like how shit it is. Like, it's another point why I literally hate America. Like, can you imagine you are trying to sell your life-saving hobby that someone was doing for, I don't know, 60 to 80 years in actually high price.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And they steal it from you, and then they try to pretend it doesn't happen, that contracts are all outdated, it's a new owner and blah blah blah.
Nothing to report, sir.
Like, if law was actually this incredibly stupid, I would literally just be owner of the business. I would take commissions to things, and instead of paying for things that I'm getting physically, I already have, I will just write a whole a business on your name, and well, it will be all terminated apparently. But this is not how law works, so I have no idea. Like, how can anyone be like so bluntly corrupted? Like, they don't even try to hide it. Like, I don't know, do they realize this is not fucking 1960 where internet didn't exist, and that like most of the world sees that, especially if the big YouTubers like Charlie actually cover it with fucking 5 videos. I already had like maybe 2 to 3 hours of this topic. I had it in background when I was playing League. Anyway, that was all. I stopped talking about it. But I'm curious if you would like a Mushoku Tensei anime sometime. Have you ever seen it somewhere, or heard about it, or saw trailers, or maybe heard people talking about it? It's basically 34-year-old guy who is an anime weep, shut in. He never goes out, like absolutely doesn't. He's in the deep depression, which happened because in school, I think he did something, like on some accident he did something he shouldn't. He pissed the bullies. They stripped him to the pole, and next morning when everybody in school, even teachers, were coming to the school, he was fully naked, fat, stripped to the pole, and that was basically the embarrassment that started his depression. No one could talk him out of it, not even his family members. It was like 5 of them, his brothers, whatever. So he actually was living like this, like shut in, till he's 34. So that happened in high school, and the rest half of the life he was living like shut in. Then eventually he got hit by the car, like by the truck. He died, and that's when he reincarnated into the fantasy land where magic exists, monsters, dragons, beasts, and like higher powers. He got reincarnated into a newborn baby, but he still had his 34-year-old brain. So his brain was fully working normally. He just, because it was new world, they had their own language. Yeah, like humans had their own language. Then there were nekomimis, like animals. I think I said nekomimi correct. When they literally had like a animal feature traits, like ears, tails, but were still like most part humanoids. There were all kinds of animals like bunnies, kitties, dogs, gazelles, sorry, goats, tigers, bears, everything. There was even demon races, elf races, and dwarf race. And that demon race, it wasn't like they were evil or something. They're just like normal race, just being called demons. Like they were exactly like elves or whatever, or dwarves, like not scary and anything. They were just normal, except one single specific tribe at least. Doesn't matter. So he was learning the language, human language, from very beginning. So he had the same conditions like a human baby. He couldn't walk because his muscles were not developed and everything. He was learning new language, so he was learning to speak, but he was obviously incredibly talented and gifted and whatever, and fast learning. So at the age of 2, he was already talking and reading books. He started reading a magical book that he somehow stumbled upon randomly. He started learning magic, where he was supposed to have mages were supposed to have a mana settled from the birth, like on same ratio, and you can't increase it. But he kept practicing it, and he was actually increasing his mana. So he was doing a lot of magic. By the age of 3, he casted a water blast so huge. He made like, I don't know, like 3 meters like circular hole in his whole house. That's when his parents realized that he's incredibly talented and brilliant. His father was a swordsman. I think like A tier, A level. So there were tier levels like S, A, B, C, D, F. So A is like second best. His mom was a healer on similar level, A or B. So she wanted him to do the magic, but he wanted also to train him in sword fights, so he was doing both. But he was mainly mage. They called the they called the teacher for him since he was like 3 to 5 for those 2 years, which was a demon lady. She was in her like 40s, but she's like not even a tsundere, but she was a loli. Her body was apparently being considered as of someone in 12-13 years old girl. That's how lolly she was. She was a water mage of some low class, and he outclassed her literally in like 1 to 2 years. So she had literally nothing to teach him. That's pushed her to train more. So she increased her own mana and became even A tier mage eventually later in the story. She even becomes
worth a look around, right? Die!
Mages and Templars. Mages and Templars.
forever.
If I was a crazy demon wolf, I'd lair up in a nice cave like that one.
Of course it was a demon. Why wouldn't it be? The farmers are safe now, right?
Yes, normal wolves will take a sheep here and there, but they won't attack the farmers.
You deal with the wolves, and our farmers will be safe.
Elena says you got rid of those demon You've held up your end of our bargain, Inquisition. You'll have my whole stable and good hands to go with it.
You said...
Well, you've... Still. It feels wrong to abandon my land to go play horsemaster again.
Enough. I can call in favors with a chevalier in Val Royaux and acquire an Orlesian horsemaster easily enough.
The Orlesians? Hang that. No hopped-up Orlesian pissboy knows more about horses than I do. All right, Inquisition. Just...
You're not going to start that Kyun rubbish where you're trying to convert me, are you?
No.
What's so funny about that?
You aren't really Vidathari material.
What's that mean? I could be a Vivi, one of those things. Bloody good one, too.
understand that under the Qun, mages are tightly controlled to protect others from their power.
You don't need to worry. I have no intention of trying to leash anyone.
I never worry, darling. A leash can be pulled from either end. to report, sir.
Maker, I hope it's not me.
See? What did I tell you?
Just rumors.
It's good to have commerce restored. I've many goods
pleased
here
to
if you
hear
wish
it.
to trade.
Of course.
you seen otherwise?
A pleasure to see you again.
Ram chops, I'll keep an eye out.
Could be better.
Thank you.
Just rumors.
The entire country reeks of wet dog. How charming.
Thank you.
Something like that.
True enough.
I suppose you're right.
Did you hear the news?
Fine day.
Of course.
That's why.
We'll see.
I suppose you're right.
I'll ask around again tomorrow.
Well, let me know if you find one.
Oh, you know.
I've got the refugees bundled up nice and warm.
Nothing to report, sir. Thank you for coming. Maybe you can solve this mess. Our missing patrol... That's the thing. Wait. Avenue, sir. Avenue, sir.
Good luck sealing those rifts. Good luck sealing those rifts.
Master Harry.
What Harry doesn't know won't hurt it.
How many people are going to die before this is over?
As many as would have if we weren't here. Now hot.
Do you need anything more, revered mother?
That can't be it. Perhaps Leliana was... No, that seems unlikely. How can... We are garnering interest from the capital.
You're not pleased?
I am not convinced we are prepared for the full scrutiny of Val Royeaux. Let's see what we have. At your service. You built for them the golden city, the center of all creation.
A man like you must get hungry.
Right. That's why.
You're certain?
Of course.
Good day. It's good to see you.
What do you mean?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Ready for waiting.
I'll be back if I need you.
Go on.
you seen the horses Master Dennett sent the Inquisition? They're magnificent.
What, you riding on first?
Well...
Oh, you...
You need something, let me know. You need something, let me know. You need something, let me know.
you seen Enchanter Vivienne? That's the picture of what a circle maid should be.
She looks like a noble. It's arrogant.
It is not arrogant to be unafraid.
Blessed are the peacekeepers. Blessed in their Is that what you want from us? Is death your only blessing? You speak Fandraste, no? What does the Maker's Prophet have to say about all of... Justinia gave him everything. But now she's dead.
That can't be it. Perhaps Leliana was... No, that seems unlikely. How can... Oh, hello, Mistress Kadash.
Something on your mind, Ambassador?
You could say that. Well, we discussed how to make people understand that a dwarf could be a herald of Andraste.
I wish I could help convince them I'm not a threat.
There are stories about your past that may make it difficult. Leliana was telling me rumors that... There are stories circulating that you were part of a criminal organization. The Dwarven Carta.
I was hoping that secret would keep a little longer.
You mean... Well, this complicates things. Were you only smuggling at least? Exchanging a few goods on the surface?
I was the buyer for fancy surface goods we sold to rich dwarven houses. Long hours, but peaceful compared to most Carter work.
That is a relief. Perhaps we can make your former occupation sound... less unsavory. I'll handle the subject of your past carefully, Herald. I'm sure you can't miss that life.
You're not interested in a dashing dwarven rogue who lived at the edge of the law?
A dashing rogue?
What?
We can't quash rumors you were with the Carta, but if a more interesting one comes along... Thank you for the talk. I must ask Varric to draft something.
can't be all of them. There must be more further in. Careful. Disturbing the water draws them out. Is that a beacon of some sort?
Watch out!
Use these. Lure those corpses out of the mud and fight on solid ground.
Keep an eye out for more then.
interesting. It may prove useful. Shall we make camp or move on? Nothing to report, sir.